and welcome to Your Coaching Journey, a podcast for doctors about coaching. Whether you're a coaching doctor, a doctor who is learning to coach, or a doctor who would like to build coaching into your professional life, then this is the podcast for you.
Good morning, I'm Tom Dillon, and with me today is Dr Ira van der Steenstraten. Good morning, Ira. How are you?
I'm very well, Tom.
Good.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You're very welcome. And Ira is joining us all the way from Brisbane in Australia, where they're just heading into summertime as we head into winter. So welcome, Ira. It's great to have you with us on the podcast this morning. I'll do a little bit of an introduction and then we'll have a chat. So Ira is a former student of ours on the Doctor's Transformational Coaching Diploma and completed the program back in July 2022. So that's over 3 years ago now. So
Yep.
Time flies. So Ira is a trained psychiatrist, psychotherapist, systems therapist, and professional coach with over 25 years of experience in various settings. And Ira holds an MD and an M.Sc from the University of Amsterdam. And Ira leverages her extensive medical, therapeutic, and coaching knowledge to provide effective and personalized coaching and training services to a diverse range of clients. How was that as an introduction, Ira?
Sounds good to me.
What more would you like to tell us about yourself?
Well, I'll weave it into your questions.
Okay.
My answers, yes.
We do have some questions that we do ask our coaching doctors. So we normally start, I've started to ask this question. We never used to do this, but to ask how you actually got started in medicine.
Which is actually a really important question. I always try to ask that to especially junior doctors as well. And it's a good question because it really made me reflect on, it's been a while now. Why did I choose medicine? And I think it all started with me actually having been born with a bleeding disorder. So I was already used to the hospital settings. And then I was interested in science and human interactions. So medicine actually became quite a logical choice. And yes, and actually at first I wanted to be a psychiatrist, an immunologist.
Oh, okay.
I was fascinated by the immune system, but then I did an internship in psychiatry and I thought, well, this is actually the most comprehensive way to help people get better quality of life. So then psychiatry it was. And so actually from a very early stage, I learned the power of listening and how fascinating the brain is, the mind, and the importance of those around a patient. So that is actually how I then decided to also train as a systems therapist. And that actually helps me a lot with my work with doctors in healthcare settings as well. Because we know that, especially when we talk about well-being, that it really lives on the interface between the individual and the system. Mm-hmm. So, so that systems thinking actually really, really helps me with that.
Yeah, I know very much. I think most the doctors that listen to our podcast would recognize, certainly in this country, that the system has a huge part to play in people's well-being and how they feel about their role.
Yeah. Well, I've actually just been to overseas, and I was in Holland speaking to another coach, a GP coach, same thing there in Holland. Systemic issues are huge for healthcare professionals. Yeah.
And it's a complex system, isn't it? So it's always going to be huge. No matter how wonderful and efficient it might be, it's still going to be a system that has a role to play in everyone's lives that's involved in medicine. So
yeah. And then the difficulty is also that we are the system.
Yes.
But that might be a whole other discussion.
Yes, let's not get too deep into that one.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
So from, obviously, you've got that background in psychiatry and psychotherapy. So what made you decide to explore coaching as an additional role that you might have?
Yeah. Well, actually, when I trained as a psychiatrist, we had mandatory 25 sessions of psychotherapy to actually become more aware of our own motives and our actions and interactions with our patients. And thinking back, I think a lot of these sessions could actually have been labeled as coaching sessions. And they have been incredibly helpful and powerful, and not just for me, but for all my peers. I think most of us actually stayed on for much longer than those 25 mandatory sessions. And so I really think coaching for doctors is a really powerful addition for that personal awareness and just to have in your toolkit. But yeah, when I moved to Australia in 2008, I actually thought it was going to be a sabbatical of 1 year. Well, now we are 17 years later, so some things have changed. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And at first, we weren't really sure how long we were going to stay here, whether it was going to be 1 year, 2.5, 4. And then after the first 4 years, we extended it with another visa. And that was the time for me to start thinking whether I was going to pursue medical registration here. But at that time, with a family with young children, it was not really compatible. Because my husband is also a medical professional, so he was jumping through all the hoops already. And for me to actually pursue that road would have made it really hard on our family. And we also wanted to stay here for the quality of life.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking, what do I do with my knowledge and my expertise, experience? And then I actually realized I wanted to work more in prevention and early intervention of mental health problems. So then I actually realized coaching would be a great vehicle for that. And then I thought, okay, if I'm going to do coaching, what am I going to do with coaching? And I decided to start a life coaching business. And then I thought, what am I going to do within this life coaching business? And I realized that because this was in 2013. So in the 5 years in between, I had really noticed the power of mindfulness. And mindfulness was something that we already started in the early 2000s in the outpatient clinic in Amsterdam, where I was working as a psychiatrist. So I already knew the power. But here, actually moving to Australia, it was actually an exercise in mindfulness on a daily basis. I mean, just the smell, the light, the temperature, the birds. It's like everything is just really helped me become more aware of my senses. And I also decided I wanted to challenge myself to do everything I wouldn't have done had I stayed in my career in medicine. And the first thing was full-time mothering, which I never thought I would have been doing. I joined a mother's group, which I never thought I would do. I took up painting classes, first drawing, then painting. Again, something that I never thought I would have done. And I think all these new experiences actually gave me the strength to step out of that medical career or to actually start thinking about stepping out. Because, well, as you will probably know, it's really scary for doctors. You know, once you have stepped on that train, you're only trained to do one thing, and it's really hard to think out of the box. So that helped me, that and the support of my husband to actually start that life coaching. And so the first program I developed was mindfulness for busy people. So that was actually teaching busy professionals what mindfulness could do, what stress does to the body, and how they could prevent burnout. That actually, I started from the basement of my house with the first workshops, and then it grew quite quickly. It became quite successful. And around that time, there was a report here in Australia that came out, was done by Beyond Blue, and it showed absolute shocking numbers of mental health problems in doctors, medical students. And I think we really have to applaud the Council of Doctors in Training of the Australian Medical Association in Queensland, who decided they wanted to do something. Everybody's talking about burnout, but they really wanted to do something. And then, so the AMAQ reached out to me and asked me to help develop a wellbeing program for junior doctors, which was actually a wonderful opportunity for me to use my personal and professional skills to actually help doctors with the stressors they could encounter at work. And so we developed the program. Pilot was very successful, and the hospitals really recognized the need for such a program. So that became quite successful as well. And for about 6 years, I traveled all across Queensland presenting this program. It was really great. It was part of the curriculum. So I presented it during lunchtime. And mind you, it took me, well, I think at least 4 years of advocacy to actually get basic funding for some basic lunch. I mean, some of the hospitals had organized it, but many of them, were just waiting for interns to come late to their teaching because, they were busy working or then busy queuing to get lunch. And I was saying, how can I even talk about well-being when we have all these starving brains here in the room? So anyway, that worked really well. Then COVID came and we moved the program online very quickly. And then not long after that, the contract was up for renewal, and the government actually decided they wanted to move to a completely online program. So the doctors could do this outside of work hours as well, which in my opinion actually defeated the whole purpose of such a program. So that was a real shame, especially after it was even awarded Best Public Health Initiative in 2018. So I was really proud of that. But, well, we know how this can go in healthcare. So that freed up my time, and I could actually return to my original question: what is the difference between coaching and therapy? Because over a decade, I had been, contemplating what that is. And then during COVID, I came across the lovely Dr. Caroline Walker, who very well.
Yeah, still very much in touch with Caroline. Speaking to her just a couple of weeks ago.
There you go. Yeah. And she was actually the first psychiatrist I knew who also did coaching. So I thought, and then she endorsed your program. And I thought, that's interesting, and especially for doctors. And I have to say, I was a little bit skeptical about the quality and motives of some coaches or coaching programs. This goes back to my days when I worked in a crisis mental health team in Amsterdam. And we would always know if there would have been, another big self-discovery workshop in the city, because we would have to deal with all the fallout of the people that couldn't handle the self-awareness that they were promoting. And so I was very aware of the boundaries that a coach needs to abide by. And I thought, okay, coaching program for doctors, at least they have similar values around quality. We have the same basic training, we learn to ask open questions. And then we very quickly unlearn that.
Yeah.
And ask the closed questions. I think you are very aware of that too.
Yes, absolutely. And it is a big challenge. And I think most of the doctors that come on our program are GPs, so have 10-minute consultations where, they're very scared about asking open questions because they've got 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you in psychiatry, it's the same thing.
Yeah. So it is something definitely that, I do advocate. And I think it's strange, isn't it? Because I think most people in the coaching world would advocate asking open questions. But then when you watch coaches doing their thing, and very experienced coaches who've never had it actually embedded, they've been told it's good to ask open questions, but they've never actually embedded it. It's just amazing how many closed questions they ask.
Yeah,
It is amazing. But anyway, back to you.
I had to learn. I had to unlearn those as well. No, I remember from being in your program, and I even made a little note. I still have it here. Who, what, when, who, what, when, what, why.
Very good.
And so no, you're very much in my head still with that. And I have to say the reciprocal coaching that we did in the program, it actually rekindled my love for the individual work again. So so that is how coaching became weaved into my career.
Yeah. So when you're actually engaged in coaching now, what would you say your approach is?
I think person-centered, but still very eclectic, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think having had such a comprehensive training, I really try to focus on the person and their goal or whatever they would like to work on, and then draw from different fields to see. I mean, I love positive psychology. I think it's really powerful, solution focused. But it's very much person centered. Yeah.
Good. Lovely. And in terms of your go-to, it's difficult, isn't it? Because it is going to be coachee dependent, but what's your favorite coaching tool?
Favorite coaching tool. Well, I've made the Wheel of Life available as a free download from my website because I think it's so powerful.
Yeah.
But I think my absolute favorite would be the Maslow's hierarchy.
Okay.
I noticed you made one of your podcast episodes on it, and I think it's incredibly powerful, especially when I do workshops with doctors, to show how we thrive towards self-efficacy and be the best version of ourselves. But many doctors, they don't sleep well enough, they don't eat enough, they don't drink enough. Then I found, I've worked with over 5,000 doctors now, and I keep on hearing back that they don't feel safe, they don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, they don't feel connected. So it's all those basics. Yeah. And then you also have to work on yourself, those intrapersonal stuff where, self-compassion, self-critical voices, difficulty setting boundaries. So I think it shows in one image a lot of things that are happening. So I have to put that on my top list.
Oh, lovely. Well, we've not had that one before. No one's mentioned that, but that's, I can't remember. We do talk about it. I think when we talk about values on our coaching course, Maslow comes in. Yes, very much. And just such an interesting, because I don't think he had ever had the pyramid that gets presented, but it is an image that makes sense to people, isn't it? Yeah. Obviously, some designer came up with it when his book was published. That put it into a pyramid.
and nice and colourful, which always works as well. Yes. No, I think it definitely works for me.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yeah. And your favourite coaching question, Ira?
My favourite coaching question, that would be at the end of a session. And I always ask now, what is the most important thing you took away from today?
Yeah.
Or you take away from today? And because, well, it can be something that you don't think has been important at all.
Yeah.
And and it's so powerful. And it also makes them reflect on the session as it has unfolded.
Yeah.
So I love that question.
Yeah, it's good.
I also
Sorry, Karen.
Yeah, no. If I would be allowed another question.
Well, there you have another question.
Okay. That would actually be, what would success look like for you?
Yeah.
Because I find that for many people, it's even hard to to even visualize, to imagine. So how can you work towards something if you don't even know what you're working towards?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, just go back to that final question. So when you did our program, I think we're still using the GROW model as the basic model that we taught, and now we've got our own model, Tom's Code, which takes people through. There's more to it than the GROW model, but the last piece of it, the E of the code, is exploration, which is kind of exploration of your thinking during this session. So that a question similar to that, what do you know now? Maybe that you didn't know at the beginning. So lovely. Thank you. But yes, the as you say, with this, what does success look like? It's very solution focused, I guess, isn't it? Of bit of a almost like a magic wand question. Okay, well, what would it actually look like? And if you can visualize what it looks like, then it's much easier to head in that direction.
Yeah. To be honest, I love the magic wand as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
we had someone talking at our conference and doing a demonstration of the magic wand, but the way that he's gone in his coaching and his therapy as well, he doesn't call it a magic wand anymore. It's just the tomorrow question. So if tomorrow you wake up and everything is, that's fine. And who am I? He's very much involved in solution focus, but I still think there's something about asking about the magic wand, and the magic wand's been waved whilst you've been asleep and you don't know it's been waved. I think building it up and making it a bit of a story helps people to go there. So interesting how these things
that gives that magical touch as well. Yeah. So it actually helps you to think out of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful, thank you. And so thinking about now how you weave coaching into all of your professional life, obviously you're actively coaching. How else do you use this in your professional life?
Yeah. So so the coaching I now do through my business Vitae, wellbeing and leadership. So those are the two areas that I focus on now. I do one-on-one coaching online. I do workshops, quite a lot of workshops, public speaking. And I've actually joined the executive consulting group here in Brisbane. And with them, I do a lot of leadership work. And quite recently, I've joined Capstan Partners. They're a group working from Sydney. They're like leading in healthcare coaching here in Australia. And so I do a lot of facilitation through them and one-on-one coaching, leadership. I love it. They do a 360 process. I don't know if you are familiar with it, but it's a leadership tool to actually learn how you're being perceived by your peers, your manager, and those that you lead. And I think that's so incredibly powerful and gives a lot of information for the coaching sessions afterwards. So that is, that's really, really a great additional tool that I've gained now.
Yeah, we do. I do quite a bit of 360 work, and it's always interesting. Sometimes it's very unsettling for the person that's undergoing it. Sometimes
definitely.
That first sort of feedback session around it I had one recently where we'd booked an hour and a half. He couldn't cope with more than 45 minutes. Like he just said, I think I need to take a break and just digest this, because this is bringing up some stuff for me. But
how good that he noticed and actually said something.
And we just rearranged the session for a week later, so he'd got time to digest. So that I think it's I've come across some organizations where they just do the 360 and send the report out, and I think it's so dangerous when that happens that people aren't guided through it and kind of held whilst they're taking on this stuff, because sometimes it can be quite painful, can't it? So, lovely. Thank you, Ira. And outside of coaching and your leadership work and your professional life, what do you do in terms of hobbies and interests?
Hobbies and interests. Well, a big hobby of mine is the volunteering I do for Doctors' Health in Queensland and the Queensland Medical Women's Society. I am their current vice president. But I wouldn't really call it a hobby. but it's really something that gives me a lot of satisfaction that I'm able to do that, and that I'm actually able to have the time to do that. When I was working in Amsterdam, I was always so incredibly busy that I wouldn't have had time for this. And here, now that I live here in Brisbane, I really actively decide to have a less active social life, which gives me time to, travel, to go outside, be in nature. I have a garden here, and I have a pool. So, all those things are things I would have never imagined. I would have had. My friends are very important to me. I've got a guinea pig who is my wellness coach.
Excellent.
I even use her sometimes in my sessions, because you can see if I just show her, people already start lighting up. It's can be incredibly powerful. But I think being out here in nature already is so nourishing. It's just it's a beautiful place to be living. I'm very, very grateful. Yeah.
But it sounds like you're also proactively looking after your own well-being. You're walking the walk. So all of the things that you're advocating for, you're actually putting into practice yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And I've become incredibly relaxed since I've lived here.
Wonderful.
So it's working.
It's good to hear. So finally, Ira, what would you say to any doctors who are thinking of adding coaching into their professional lives?
Well, like I said before, I think it can be a great addition, both for yourself, but also for your patients. And I think I would advise doctors to start with coaching for yourself, so you can just feel what it's like. It really is different when you have experienced it yourself, and then you can always decide if you want to be a coach yourself.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, we have actually started a network, Doctors Who Coach Doctors. I started that together with Dr. Tabitha Healy from Adelaide, when we noticed there were actually so many doctors who started coaching. And we will have a summit next year as well for those who are coaching curious.
Yeah.
It's organized by the lovely doctors Joe Braid and Anthony Llewellyn. And so that's where we also actually see a lot of doctors who are curious, to know about coaching, but also know how to become a coach. And for those who actually want to make a career out of it, I think it's really important that you also realize that we weren't learned business tools in medical school.
No.
And things like marketing and, finding your own clients can be challenging.
Yeah.
And so be aware of that, and don't isolate yourself. Try to find others. I mean, our Doctors Who Coach Doctors network, for us, that is a beautiful community of practice, and supervision is incredibly important, I think. So I can highly recommend it. I think it's incredibly powerful, both for yourself, for your patients. If you love it, you can always decide to be a coach yourself. And I have to give your program a plug, because I do think it's the only program I know that is specifically designed for doctors, and that is something that really helped me. We had a wonderful group, and but I really think having those peers that really understand where we come from, it really makes a difference.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I think part of that as well is we do have very small groups. So, and we still now, we're very popular, but we won't go above 9, because we know we've kind of learned that that's kind of the optimal number for people to be able to interact with everyone on the group, and it not to kind of form little cliques, and everyone gets on with everyone else. So when we, people carry on communicating with each other long beyond the course. So
Yeah, we still have our WhatsApp.
Well, there you go. That was it. Yeah. And that was our intention. And we love the fact that people that are making those connections that do go on beyond us. So yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, Ira. It's been lovely to talk to you. Lovely to catch up. It's been a long time since we've been able to have a chat. So lovely to get back in touch. And great to hear that not only are you continuing to coach, but you're also actively involved in a coaching community in Australia and sort of furthering coaching as part of your role over there. So that's great to hear. So well done for that. But lovely to talk to you. We'll let you get on with your evening. I'm just about to start my day. So I have a coaching session. I've got to drive over to Warwick now for my first coaching session of the day. So the day is just beginning.
It doesn't rain.
No, well, I probably will actually, but I've got a coat. I'll be all right.
Okay.
But have a lovely evening and stay in touch.
Thank you.
We'll speak to you soon. All the best.
Okay. Bye, Tom.
Bye-bye,
okay. Bye.
Next week on the podcast, we will be talking about reflecting on your coaching. So a little bit how you might go about doing engaging in some reflective practice around your coaching. So we'll say goodbye for now and we will see you next time. Bye for now.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.